Sage Wanderer here, coming at you from another epic adventure. So, I'm on an adventure. I am shooting video. You will see what's up with me. And I live an adventurous life, and sometimes I take you along on the adventures, and sometimes I film the adventures, and later on I edit them and put them up. And well, last summer I had great adventures, took a lot of video footage, and still haven't posted any of that up. My life changed, and so I don't know, some of the stuff I shot I don't want to revisit. Right? Who wants to revisit failed attempts at relationships, right? So, but this adventure is epic, and it's awesome, and you'll see what I'm up to. And I kind of wanted to talk about me and my adventures. So, you watch this channel because you like to hear my stories, or you like to hear my take on what's going on in the world, or you're just looking for some sage wisdom. But I get a ton of trolls on this channel who look at my stories and can't believe that they could possibly be true. They can't believe that I once rolled with, got tapped by, and tapped a UFC fighter. And I made it perfectly clear it wasn't a UFC fight. It wasn't a sanctioned fight. It was sparring. It was training. Okay. You tap in training all the time. Or I would have tapped him the first time and it would have been over. Or I would have tapped the Mexican kickboxer and it would have been over. So I got people who never fought in the UFC, who don't know mixed martial arts, who are just fat, lazy, bearded trolls who never rolled with anybody, telling me I'm a liar for saying that I rolled with Rory Singer, when if you just scroll down in the comments you're concerned with, you can hear me and Rory Singer himself talk about that day. And Rory told me right there, and it's right there in the channel details, that the only thing, or in the comments of that video, that the only thing I got wrong about my Rory Singer story, according to Rory Singer himself, was that he was an amateur at the time he and I rolled, and that he was an amateur with one fight, but everything, he didn't deny anything else, you know. Even apologized for me waking up every morning with my crick in my neck that I actually call Rory Singer. You can ask my girlfriend. I call the crick in my neck that she has to rub out of my neck from time to time Rory Singer, because he stacked me on my head. So you get people who never got off the couch, people who've spent their life smoking weed and playing video games, and they want to get on this channel and call me a liar because they've never lived and I have. So let's make this perfectly clear. I'm not as adventurous, and my story isn't as great as the secondhand Lions men, but it's pretty darn close. That my life in the 20th and first part of 21st century was an epic time to be alive. There aren't any men being made like me anymore, because all of you younger men sit around and watch other things on, other people have adventures. You sit around and watch other people tell stories, and you never get busy with life. You have to get off the couch and go do something if you want to have the kind of stories that I have. Don't disparage me because I lived and you failed to. You failed to live a planned and determinate life, and you've let life happen to you, and I happened to life. Yes, I played with Charlie Pride. I played piano behind Charlie Pride. Yes, I made records, many of them. Yes, I've been on television, radio, and film with my music. Yes, I have done all the things. I've been in the bottom of canyons. I've fought men. I've killed big animals. I've skinned bucks, run trot lines, right? I've driven at 120 miles an hour through the freeway in Dallas in traffic because I had a death wish when I was 19. Right? I rolled a car in downtown Dallas, rode on top of it while it skidded through the intersection on its side like a surfboard, jumped off, landed on my balls of my feet, and an old man standing on the curb was staring at me with his jaw dropped open. When he saw the wreck, saw me climb out of the top of the moving car, stand on top of the moving car, jump off of the moving car, and hit the ground with a solid landing on both feet. And I turned to him and said, "Did you see that crap?" And he said, "I sure did." And the real moral of that story is that's an event that was so amazing to me that that it made me affirm in my mind that there is a God. Because in that moment when I got hit in downtown Dallas by the guy that T-boned me and flipped my car when he ran the red light, I was actually thinking maybe there wasn't a God. And when that happened and the balls of my feet hit the ground, and I turned to that old man and asked him, Did you see that? And he said, I sure did. God spoke to me and said, still thinking I'm not real? Because I should have died in that wreck. I should have got hurt in that wreck. I really didn't get anything but a bad bruise on my leg and a scrape on my elbow. And so I have these stories because I've lived a life. I've done these things. I made adventure. You know, adventure never finds you. You have to go looking for it. So I won't apologize for my stories. Every last one of them is true. I can provide, you know, when I first started this channel, Bozo said, you're not a musician. I don't believe you're a musician at all. You're making all this up. And I was just talking about being a working, traveling musicians, like thousands and thousands of us out there, right? I spent my life doing this. Oh, you're not a musician. I bet you can't even play an instrument. So I played, my first music video was, I played Voodoo Child on the banjo, learned it in about 5 minutes and recorded it for you. You can find it in my music section. And then I had to put up proof to you people in the form of photos to show you that I was a musician, that I lived a life on the road, that I have a Dallas Observer Music Award. I am a member of the Buddy Magazine Texas Tornado Hall of Fame, along with people like Miranda Lambert, Willie Nelson, and Stevie Ray Vaughan. Van Cliburn, famous classical piano player. We're all Texas Tornadoes. I lived this life. It was fun. It was adventurous, and I have the sore joints and the scars to prove this life. And I'm still living an adventurous life. So to all of you scoffers who think I'm full of crud, to all of you people who can't believe that someone like me exists in the world, all I can say to you is, get off the couch! Really, put down the Twinkies, get off the couch and live your life. Stop being a spectator. The only reason that I have lived the life I have lived is that I sought out that life. I set out to live that life. And now I'm with this wonderful woman who is from my vintage and era, and her life reads like mine in female version, in the female California version of my life, right? And she didn't do the same things I did, but she lived an adventurous life because one thing her and I have in common is we set out to live an adventurous life. Don't let life happen to you, happen to life. Take the world by the horns, right? Do something with your life. Don't sit on your butt and call other people liars because they lived and you didn't. And to the troll who's giving me a hard time about the Rory Singer story, well, all I can say is this. We didn't have video cameras in our pockets back then, so I don't have proof of rolling around on a mat in a community center in Dallas with a bunch of Mexican kickboxers back in 2000, right, 2001. Because we didn't have cameras. We didn't waste our time taking pictures. We were too busy doing. So put down the computer, put down the phone, get up off your butt, get up off the couch, stop calling other people liars, and live your own life and have your own stories. Mr. I don't have any content on my YouTube channel. I just use it to troll other people. Right? Live an adventurous life. And if you can't, stop calling people liars who do. Really. If I was going to make up something with a fighter, I wouldn't pick some low-level guy like Rory Singer who never really became a champion. I'd pick somebody bigger. I'd make a bigger story. I mean, if I was going to lie about playing with somebody, I wouldn't lie about playing with an aging Charlie Pride, right? I would talk about playing with, I don't know, some major star of the moment, right? You don't even give me good credit as a liar. If I was going to be a liar, I'd make up better lies than this. Really? I mean, come on, people. Live an adventurous life. Don't be a troll. If you don't have stories of your own, don't go around calling people liars who took the chance and had the story. You know, I became a professional studio musician in Dallas because when I was 19 years old, I got in my little pickup truck. And I looked up on the phone in the phone book every recording studio of any size and sort in Dallas, in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And then I spent a whole week every day going to each place and beating on the door till some long-haired, half-stoned engineer comes piling out of a dark hole. And I walk in and there's $1 million studio hidden in a warehouse. And I tell him, I'm a professional piano player and I want to play on your records. I want to be your studio cat. And because of that, I got launched into the local music scene in Dallas. I got hyper shot into it. And I found myself rubbing elbows with people like Jimmy Vaughn, and Bugs Henderson, and Jimmy Wallace of the Stratoblasters. You know, I found myself getting to sit in with the Stratoblasters. They hate keyboard players. That happened at the Buddy Magazine Invitational Jam, where I got to play with some of the greatest Texas musicians on earth at the Hard Rock Cafe when I was like 23 years old, 24 years old. So just because you didn't live, don't disparage other people who did and call them liars because you don't believe their stories could be true. Because guess what? None of that stuff will happen to you either. If you sit on the couch, it'll never happen to you. If you sit there and let your life tick away. My life was adventurous and interesting and still is to this day. I'm on an epic adventure right now that some of you can't even imagine. I'll tell the story from this, and some of you who've never left your hometown of Shawnee, Oklahoma, or your hometown or wherever it is you're from, and you've never done anything adventurous, you're going to think I'm a liar because you'd never do something like what I'm doing right now. You'd never dream of doing what I'm doing right now. And I'll tell you the story of where I'm at and what I'm doing. I'm taking footage right now. I'm going to edit it together in a video. And I never stop moving. That's another thing. You know, if you don't get off the couch, you can't live. And you'll never have stories like mine. So I encourage you to live an intentional life. I encourage you to set out and seek out adventure. Make life happen. Don't let life happen to you. We'll talk to you next time. This is Sage Wanderer on the road in an undisclosed location on an undisclosed adventure.